The second part of this lesson talks about disorders and diseases of the digestive system. We're going to look into a few of these main digestive system diseases that are more common to people. The first one is celiac disease. This has to do with the immune system attacking villi and the small intestine when you consume gluten, which is type of protein that you can get it from different wheat and wheat products. So bread, it could be pasta, and anything that would include wheat related stuff. So when you have these food inside of your body, you're going to have either abdominal pain or bloating or diarrhea and things like that because your immune system is recognizing those things as harmful substances. Celiac disease is based on heredity, and if you have celiac disease, you have a high chance of getting anemia, diabetes, or cancer. So it's better for you to watch out your food intake so you don't consume gluten as much as possible. Usually these days, food labels will indicate if they are based on wheat products or if they're gluten-free or not, so that could be very helpful for people with this disease. Another common disease is going to be gastroesophageal reflux disease, in short term GERD. Usually in the hospital, they're going to refer to it as GERD more than calling the full name. This happens when the contents of the stomach back up into the throat, and we have talked about it previously in the last section with sphincters. If you don't have those muscles contracting properly or working properly, your food chyme may come up to your esophagus and may burn inside of those passages. So oftentimes when you have GERD, it can cause heartburn. The cause of it is unknown, but it can be many of different factors contributing to have these symptoms, and it's better not to sleep right away after you eat because of this reason as well. The third one is going to be lactose intolerance, and this is probably one of the well-known diseases that we know of from the digestive system. When the small intestines lack these enzyme called lactase to digest lactose from dairy products, we have lactose intolerance, and the symptoms are very well known. You're going to have abdominal pain, you may feel gassy, you may have diarrhea and things like that. And usually you can live symptom-free life if you cut down your dairy products or if you substitute your dairy products to something else like soy products or almond milk and things like that, so you don't have to go through those painful experiences with lactose intolerance. The next item is called inflammatory bowel disease or IBD. This is not just for one disease, it's just going to be for a group of diseases that affects the bowel or other word intestines. So it could be for either small or the large intestines. And when you have these IBDs, you're going to have either abdominal pain, rectal bleeding, diarrhea, or even weight loss because your intestines are not working properly to intake these nutrients. The cause of these IBD are very unclear, but people say it's mostly an autoimmune disease and related to heredity. Some examples are ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. Especially for ulcerative colitis, you're going to have painful ulcers forming inside of your intestines. And for Crohn's disease, you can have inflammation either at the end of your small intestine or any part of your intestines. And Crohn's disease can't be cured, but you can regulate the symptoms by different treatment. Peptic ulcers are sores that forms in the lining of the stomach or inside of the duodenum, which is the beginning part of the small intestine. This happens when your digestive stomach acids eats around the surrounding tissues, and it's going to be painful. So you'll feel burning sensation in the stomach, you may vomit, or even have symptoms of GERD, which is the reflux disease. And sometimes you can get peptic ulcers when you are using ibuprofen or aspirin for a long time. So it's better if you don't use them frequently because it can actually damage you than to help you. Also, there's cirrhosis for the liver, which is a condition where your liver is going to harden. And a lot of times, like I said, when you drink a lot, you can develop cirrhosis because as you drink, it's going to damage your liver cells, and in turn, they're going to turn into hard tissue, scar tissue. For diabetes, it's going to result from the damage of the pancreas. So when your pancreas is damaged, you're going to have a hard time regulating the acid containment in your chyme, and also it's going to have a hard time breaking down the fats. And of course, diabetes can further complicate your health by having different complications, so you don't really want to have them. The third and the last portion of this lesson is keeping the digestive system healthy. A lot of them, in fact, most of them, if not all of them, are going to be a common sense, but we are going to review it so that we are aware which ways are helpful for our digestive system health. First, exercise portion control, which means you're going to have smaller meals and you're going to schedule it throughout the day instead of having a huge meal once a day so that your stomach is not going to feel burdened or overwhelmed. You can also eat a high fiber meals, such as meals that are containing veggies, whole grains, seeds, nuts, and legumes, so that you're not just eating carbs or fat, which are easier for your body to digest and store in your body as fat. Exercise regularly and drink plenty of water. That's kind of important for any kind of health conditions. And don't drink or smoke. Smoking and drinking can increase your risk of having different types of health conditions and diseases that can damage your organs that relates to the digestive system. Another thing that I need to be careful is to avoid spicy food. When you have a spicy food that you can't handle it and you're consuming it over and over, you can damage the inside of your stomach. So if you're liking spicy food like I do, make sure they're not too overboard that you're damaging the stomach. You can also avoid eating meat and fatty food because a lot of times it's harder for your body to process the fat and the protein from animal products. And the harder your body have to work to digest, the more tired it's going to become, and it's easier for them to have different diseases. It's important to avoid stress because stress can actually slow down your digestive system, because when you're stressed, they go into flight or fight mode, which means your body is going to put blood into other parts of your organs or bodies that can deal with the stress instead of your digestive system. So oftentimes when you're stressed, you may feel like you can't digest your food, indigestion may be bloated a little bit because, again, your body can't handle stress and also digest at the same time. It is also helpful to avoid carbonated drinks with high sugar, and also reduce caffeine consumption, either from those carbonated drinks sometimes or coffee or energy drinks, because they are highly acidic too. So the more you drink it, the chances of you damaging your stomach can be greater. We also talked about avoid eating close to bedtimes. Sometimes when your food is still not digested after eating so close to bedtimes, when you're sleeping, your stomach is still working, and your stomach actually needs to take a break from working so hard in order to be more efficient in digestion process. And also, if your sphincters are not working properly, you may have GERD, which can be painful and can give you heartburns and further complicate your esophagus, and the chance of having esophagus cancer may increase as well. For this lesson, you have 3 questions, and I have typed the questions for you so you can work on them. Name 3 ways the body breaks down food during digestion. How do the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder help the digestive process? And what is the purpose of villi?